should be embarrassed. The whole world is looking at us and laughing at us. I'm embarrassed to be an American.
What's up, people? It's your boy Charlie in the box, patriotic miscreant. What I'm gonna have my box today is gonna be a letter from PG&E. So let's get this video started. Well, it says Mr. Charlie Box that resides in Fresno, California. Dear customer, PG&E. To encourage energy conservation amongst the highest residential energy users, a new mandated high usage surcharge is being introduced across California beginning March 2017. The surcharge is being added to customers' energy statements when their electricity usage reaches 4 times their baseline allowance. Remember that thing called baseline allowance? It comes up next. In a monthly billing period, our records show that your past energy usage on Box Lane is higher than the average. We want to let you know that you may be at risk of incurring the surcharge because you've exceeded the 4 times your baseline allowance within the last 12 months. PG&E here is to help you manage your energy usage to avoid this surcharge. Okay, let me give you guys my opinion on this. I do not get no government assistance at all. If I try to apply for it, I can't get any. Why? Because I go to work 40 hours during the week and I have an income. And since I make too much, I can't get food stamps. Can't go get Section 8 or monthly allowance from the United States government or even a free phone over here in California today. Can't get any of these social programs. So I have to buy all my food and pay my rent myself because I can't get Section 8. And I pay for my utilities, my usage of electricity and gas. I pay that shit. Where I live at in Fresno, California, during the summer, it hits around 115 degrees. It gets really hot and humid here. So if I want to put my thermostat at 70, that's my freaking choice. At the recommended 85. I pay that bill, not my neighbor, not the government, not PG&E. And as long as I pay my bill, shut the hell up how much I'm using. But remember they said that baseline allowance. Well, do you guys happen to know over here in California they went and put these smart meters on our house to best manage our energy consumption, but at the same time they did it to our water supply. Even though Californians voted no against it, well, they just did it anyways a few years later. And that baseline allowance is going to transfer to your water consumption, especially here in the valley because we go through these droughts every so often. In the future, what they'll tell people is that you used too much water per month in gallons, and we're gonna have to shut off your water. They already do it with mandatory blackouts sometimes with PG&E. We got to be stupid as Californians to think that they won't do it again. But as long as the average person continuously ignores things and just pays the fines, well, there's no amount of tyranny these people are going to be able to get away with that we wouldn't put up with. Today in California, now they mandate every year that our kids go to a public school, they have to get vaccinated. Our kids will never know a day that they didn't have to do that to go into a public school system. And California wants to mandate you can't go to any public schools or charter schools or home schools. You got to be in the public school system to get this indoctrination. When is it that the American people are gonna wake up to understand what's happening in California? Because if the people in California will put up with all this tyranny, well, they could spread it all across the land. In the communist state of California, It's a test state, America. They're gonna test people to see if you would rather have a handout or hand up. And you guys know where most of our taxpayers go to pay for unfunded liabilities like food stamps, welfare, Section 8. That's all here in California. And as long as we as Californians would just put up with, well, they're just gonna keep getting away with it. You guys happen to know about the Council on Foreign Relations, or a guy named Albert Pike, and a book that he wrote called Morals and Dogma? Well, the Council on Foreign Relations is a group of people that influence the legislation that America passes in our country. We as Americans have to be stupid to believe that healthcare reform was here to make our healthcare more affordable for the average person. Well, it's influenced by people like the Council on Foreign Relations that they pass this Healthcare Reform Act, or like NAFTA and all these laws that are against the best interests of the American people and our country. Well, these people, like the Council on Foreign Relations, they came out and said that they want to make meat so expensive that the people won't buy it anymore. That's price fixing. How come the United States government want to go and investigate something like that and prosecute somebody that does something like that? Price gouging? Come on, man. That's wrong. And it should be investigated. But they'll never investigate it because of the same reason when we got information coming from Vault 7. How the NSA is spying through smart technology in our houses with the Samsung TV. Because this whole structure of understanding you're living in a guilty cage, and the guilty cage test is right here in the front lines of FEMA Region 9. In the occupied state of the United States of America. It's a horrible thing what's happening to America today. And what's happening in California is going to go nationwide if it ain't there already. We have to understand, America, it's no longer what we want to hear about NBA or some latest sports star hanging himself or whatever it is. I think it's stuff that people need to know, not want to know. That's why you need to be introduced to people like Albert Pike, who wrote a book called Morals and Dogma. You don't understand that these world wars are being orchestrated. And the Arabs against the Christians is all being orchestrated. But you got to pick up a book and educate yourself. You got to be introduced to people like Carl Quigley. That's Bill Clinton's mentor. Wrote a book called Tragedy and Hope. And he talks about all this stuff because those type of people don't have the mindset of the average person. They think of us as sheep, as cattle people. Who are you? At some point, when are you going to understand that when this social and economic collapse happens here in America, they're going to have gun confiscations? Eventually, you'll have a federal guard knocking on your door, taking your weapons. You don't think it's going to happen? It's all written. So, telling you guys, man, go to drudgereport.com daily. Go to my Facebook page, and I'll be posting a lot of articles that you guys won't be reading on most websites. If the news agencies use Drudge Report, I think it's good enough for you. Knowledge is something that empowers people. It educates them. And that's how we can evoke change. Because we need good, standing people to do the right thing today, because we're going on a horrible path that destroyed nations before us. America's enrolling in the Communist Party of America. A lot of millennials are doing that. That's another story that's going on. And a lot of Americans are buying onto this progressive utopia that government's going to grant rights and government's going to have a safe space for nobody's feelings to ever get hurt, and everybody's gay. So if you're not going to do everything in power to restore your life, liberty, and this country, America, you're going to do everything in power to destroy all three. Charlie in the Box, the patriotic, miscreant, and I'm out. Take that pill.
Hello there. Watch Charlie in the Box before he's sent to a re-educational camp.
Find out.